Hey Remco, how are you? This is Dimitris calling from Chicago and Metalkaoz.
Hi, I'm fine.
Um, so Graceless, and I take it you played some live shows very recently. How those went?
Yeah, they went great. Yes, we could use some new numbers, new songs,
Mhm.
from the new album. So that's always funny, and we can see if it works out, and it does. So it was nice to do. Yes, yeah, we did.
Um, so when did you join Listenable Records? Was it before you had started working on the new album?
Yes, and we had a contract for two albums at the Roscoe Records for the first two,
Mhm.
and then came, and then we thought we do another one with, so we don't have to search for another one, and we had some new songs, so we did the Chance album, the previous album, and after that the contract was done, and then I knew Laurent from Listenable had interest in us, but I saw him at the Alcatraz Festival in Belgium, and he was there, I was there, so we talked about it, and then yeah, he came with an offer. So this album is unlistenable. So we're very happy about that.
So you didn't shop around. You went straight to Listenable?
Yes, yes, I like it when people have interest in us. If you, and I knew a lot about the band. He knew a lot about the songs, and he's really an old school death metal guy. So I had much confidence in him, and it's a great label. So yeah, I'd rather do that than shopping. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So how much did signing with Listenable help the creation of the new album?
Not the creation, but it helps a lot with distribution, and they have much more contact. You have much more possibilities. Our former albums were all in Europe, but it was hard to get outside of Europe, and Listenable doesn't have that problem. So that was for us a good reason to sign with Listenable. But the album we kind of written in between. So I was already working on the album,
Mhm.
and then the Listenable story came up. So that's
Perfect.
how it went. Yes.
So that means we can get this cool version with that cool color on the vinyl, right? For the new album.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
looks, it's sold out on your Bandcamp, but Listenable still has it. So that's good news.
Yes, but not so much because we wanted to order some more from Listen Boy. Said no. I said we're almost out, so we're gonna get the new color. I think the first press is sold out from the final. That's what I know.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna have a new color. Do you know what color would that
Yes.
be?
Not yet, but yeah, I hope a color that suits the cover. You know.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
So now I'm confused. I don't know what to get, but hey, we'll see about that. So when was the album ready? Because I know sometimes, especially recently, labels put a delay. So you may have
Yeah.
the album for a year ready. So what was the case with you guys?
For us, it was ready in December last year.
Whoa.
So we had to wait almost half a year, but it was a little bit our fault too. We should have given the artwork at a certain. I think the end of February it was, and we were
Okay.
one day late. And he said, "Sorry, you have to plan other, but you have to schedule with the pressing plant. Where the records are being made. And
Correct.
if you're one day too late with that, then your place is gone. So we had to wait 2 months later. But yeah,
Wow.
the album was not the cover art was not really finished. So we had to wait 2 months later. But for the rest, it was fine. Yeah, I think so.
So Icons of Ruin is the fourth Graceless album.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident that the band has found their sound, or do you think there is still a room to try stuff?
Alta, always, yeah, always. I think so. The first album was really like an ode to an homage to the gods from the 90s, all the great old school death metal bands who started this scene, And at the second album, we were trying to blend in our own ideas, So it was a little bit from the old gods and a little bit of us, and we let that loose at the Chance album, and in this album we do, yeah, this exactly how we supposed to sound, I think. But we always have room to improve. I think you have to improve every record, I think. So make the songs better, make the leads better, make the album nicer, everything. So lots to improve. But
So when,
what you now hear, that's the Graceless sound for sure.
so when we say improve, does it mean that the band can expand from the death metal sound, or that's
No,
out of the question?
it's always going to be death metal. I think that's where we feel the most comfortable in, and that's where that's where we're good at. So no, there is room for improvement, but not to play a totally different. No, I don't think that's going to happen. That's not for us.
So here's a question, because as a fan,
Yeah.
when I see a new band from the Netherlands and it's death metal, I kind of knew that it will be good,
Really?
right?
Yeah.
So what's going on in the Netherlands? What do you
Well,
do? What do you put in the water or in the beer?
it must be the beer, but nobody drinks water
Yes.
here. No, but we have a small country, of course, but we have a good good metal scene. So we have a
Okay.
lot of people uh, who are in bands. So the competition, concurrentie, what's that? No, the competition is very high. It's a high level. So when you play in your town or somewhere else in another town, you always know half of the people are also in bands, and that. But it's a friendly competition, so I kind of like that. But it keeps us sharp, and we support each other, so that's good, And I think that is why we have a lot of good bands. So
Right. And it's amazing
not
to
all.
hear. Amazing to hear that you support each other, because sometimes,
Yeah. We had that in the past too, but more that's a thing more from the past, I think.
Mhm. So how long do you work on Icons of Ruin? How much time did it take from start to finish? Forget about the delay.
Yeah, I think 1.5 years, something like that.
Okay.
I became when stopped when the record is out. So when the chance was out in public, the former records, then I start to collect riffs or ideas, and I write them all down, and then I'm gonna make songs over the year, and then the last half year, then we're gonna try them out in the rehearsal space. And then we had like 16 songs, and we kept I think 11 or 12.
So
And
sorry, you said 60, 60?
16, 16.
16, okay.
Yeah, no, not 60. We're not that creative. No, no, like 16 songs. Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, the best ones we put on the record, and that is that feels good to us, and that kind of like come together like one piece. What fits and what suits each other. Yeah.
Do you keep the stuff that don't use, or those
Uh,
are gone?
we uh, we recorded 11 or 12 songs, I think 12, and then we keep two or maybe if we do a split, or we do an extra version of the CD, and with an extra track, record labels like that. And the other four, yeah, I keep in a refrigerator. We call it the fridge. We keep there the old that we never use, but we never reuse that. So that's there to stay, I think.
It's when
We
you
never.
have guests. When you have guests, you will get something from the fridge, right? I'm
Yeah,
joking.
yeah, maybe, yeah. They can listen or taste a little.
Yeah. Who did the mixing and mastering for this one?
Yeah. We went to Germany to the Soundlux studio. Jörg Ucken did the mixing, mastering, everything. We heard a lot of different work from him, and I know the studio a little, and I thought that we have to work with him. He's an old school death metal drummer as well, so he works very well with our own drummer. So he liked that very much there, and you can stay there. That's a very big con for me. Normally we recorded in that studio, and we did some guitars at home and the singing in another studio, but we never had a band feeling about this. So I said, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to the studio with the sleeping places inside, so we can stay there and work 24 hours on the music. And yeah, that was really great. I can hear that in the Icons album. It's so much more a band thing.
So
So
that
that's
means that you had a chance also to exchange ideas while in the studio and make
Yes.
adjustments? Okay.
Yeah, we made parts different. We made some lyrics different, and Björn did like 2 or 3 solos. He did there on the spot. He made something like that, no different, totally different, and he made it's so nice to work like that. So yeah, it becomes great like that. And we had so much things. We never come up in the rehearsal space or so. We had now more pressure, and we recorded till 8 at from 10 in the morning till 8 at the evening, and
Okay.
then after that, we were still. Of course, we did dinner or something like that, and then we're picking up the guitars and we're gonna rewrite shit and so. And we never did it like that, so. It was it was a great way to work on an album, I think. Yeah.
So since you mentioned the guitars and Bjorn,
Yeah.
how do you guys work? Because you said you start with riffs, and then
Yeah.
how do you take those ideas and work with Bjorn? Is it easy to do that?
Yeah, very easy. Back in the days, you did everything on cassette tapes, and now we all have Cubase, and then I make the basis of the songs. I do all the riffs. What I think sounds like a song, and I do already some digital drums beneath it, and then I listen to the guys, and the drummer is gonna move some parts, and Björn is already pointing there. I'm going to do a solo, and this is going to be, and then we make something of it. It's like that. But I do the basics, and the rest add their shit. And
So,
then in the rehearsal space, we kind of watch what is working and what not.
so you are a nice guitarist to work with. You are not.
I think so. Yeah, and I don't do leads, so we never have.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, he's much better than me in leads, so I think let's do them all, And
Well, in all fairness, singing and doing the leads can be a very difficult job to do.
yeah, it's too much. So I already, I think singing and guitar playing is pretty difficult, and it's a lot of work on the stage as well. And if I then have to switch to all the freaky stuff, that's not for me. I'm glad he's doing that. So.
Understood.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the time durations between chants and icons, you can see that the band wrote a little bit shorter songs. So how did this happen? Did you want it to make more hooks, more riffs, more groove?
Yeah, I wanted to be a little bit more live album. We have the Chance album. There's much more atmosphere and not so much live songs. And when we promoted our album, we put all the time a few songs from the Chance out of it, and did an old one bed for this works better live. If you play live. If you play too much doom songs, it's yeah, I don't want to say boring, but for the people, it's what harder to listen. So it's how do I say that? Sometimes you just want to make a party, and then you have to have party songs. And here we have on this album, we have I think 3 slow songs, so doom, and the rest is really for life, and that's what we wanted. So that's why it's a little more in your face, more hooks, more
more
things
aggression.
like that.
Well, for doom, if you are going to watch a doom metal band, it's great. But I understand what you're saying, that if you have some doom songs and then some death metal songs, it can be a little bit of unfair to one another, right?
Yeah, and I like to have. If you only do hard songs, then it's also like this. I want to have some. How do you call that? Well,
versatility,
it's different all the time. That you have different beats, different beats per minute, and that you have a different feeling of what you bring.
Right.
Sometimes it can be emotional. Sometimes it can be aggressive, and that makes the album worth listening, I think.
Yeah, maybe you're looking at the word variety, right? To have
variety. Yeah.
Okay. What about, you mentioned that it was your fault, quote unquote, about the delay. So what input did you give to the person who did the cover artwork? And in fact, who did the cover artwork?
Yeah. It's called Kaoz Design something. I don't know. I forget the the cover artist all the time.
Okay.
It's something like Chaos Design. I have it on the record. Yeah, it's on the record somewhere. But it was really nice. We got a tip from Laurent from the Listenable. He said you have to work with this guy. He's very good. So we looked at his work and think he's definitely something we were looking for, and we were very impressed by his previous work. But in the beginning we had a sort of idea to make it a concept album, about the Catholic Church and blah 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 and all the horrors they give. But after 4 songs, I was done with the concept album.
Okay.
It was all about. It was too much for me. I just couldn't drag my self into that anymore. So I started to write different songs, but we kept the idea for the artwork that came out of that, and that was making it like stained glass, and lead, like the Catholic churches have on the window. So we wanted to do that, but then in the death metal style, and we gave him all the freedom of the world, because I believe in giving artists freedom. Then he came up with the best ideas. If you're gonna build them in a small, if you make Kaoz or something like that, then they don't. That's for them harder to do. So you give him freedom, give him an idea, and then come up with nice shit. And he did, and he sent us sketches, of course, every time, and first just draw by the pencil, and then we could say what we wanted to change. But I didn't think we didn't change anything, not even the colors. He made it really better than we could imagine. So that's how it went.
So you said you started working on a concept. Did you
Yeah.
place those songs on the track list in a sequence? Like, I know it must be God Signs in Absence, Signified Slaughter, Last Me to My Painful Death.
Yeah.
Those are the part of the concept you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the first one too, God Shines in Absence.
Mhm.
And I think
Night of the Slain, no.
maybe one of the later songs. I think we kept 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't look at the lyrics when when we made the final placement of the songs.
Okay.
I listen different, and I always want a slow song at the end.
Mhm.
So that's the end. We didn't do that this time, but it was an idea for my bass player, and I want an opener that is spot on. That it's not acoustic guitar or violins in the beginning. You have to say what you want to say in the first song. And mostly that's the most played song on Spotify as well. And if it takes too long to reach a certain goal, then everybody's done in 20 seconds. It has to be spot on, and it's sometimes it's sad to think like that, but we do it like that, and that's how we do it. And after that song, I want a different tempo, and then they do a slow one, so it's more like to keep a nice balance in the nice balance between different songs.
So first of all, I love that you use the word sad, as you said that people listen to 20 songs. That's extremely sad.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a comment, because it feels so unfair to just listen 20 seconds and form an opinion and say, well, that doesn't sound good, or I don't like that. Anyhow.
No, but that's the time we live in. It's the same with if you watch Netflix, and those people worked for 4 years on a series, and if you look 20 minutes and you don't, I don't feel this, then you stop watching. And they do this with music nowadays too. That's why albums are a little bit outdated to make albums. You can see it if you have a Spotify list with 10 songs from one album. The first song does 10,000 views, and the last one 10 times less, because it's the last song. And that's people don't have the time for it anymore. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I like to make albums still. But the younger people, I don't think so.
Honestly, if I were a musician and I was looking at that, only the first song getting on the place, I'm not sure how I will react. Maybe I would have said, well, you know what? I'm calling it a day. Only one song from now.
Yeah, they do that. That's why people in pop music, they don't make so much albums anymore. They just place 1 song or 3 songs, EPs, and but it's more the in metal they still buy vinyls, and that's nice. So
of course,
when we make an album, we always think about the final as well. So we have 10 songs. So the first one has to be good. The last one has to be what's slower. But the first one of the B-side has also be a banger, you know?
Yeah.
So we're kind of old school like that, but a little bit thinking about Spotify also.
I know. Hardening of the Heart. So is this your first ballad for Graceless?
It was, yes. You know, I was a long time. I thought that's not gonna make the record. You know, it
Right.
was because it was so different, and I thought maybe people will say, yeah, now they're gonna be a commercial band, or they're totally out of the death metal, and but. I said we record it and then we decide if it's too too
So
what do you call it?
no.
Too sweet or whatever. It's a love song as well, you know. So it's and then it but we played it and Björn made a beautiful solo on it that made it even better than I thought. Yeah, fuck it, we just do it. You know, there
Perfect.
are people who's gonna love it and people are gonna hate it, and we have them both only for that song. And but I'm very proud of it. You know,
You
it's
should.
different, but it's a good song. Yeah,
It is. It is.
yeah,
And it, as you said, when you listen to the entire album, to the entire album, then
yeah,
you can see how the mood shifts. And it's not
yeah,
like all roses love song. It has
yeah.
this darkness underneath. So
Yeah,
it
it's
still
not
works.
it's not a love song at all. I think about it's more like um, the sadness of a lost love, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and more like that. And yeah, and
What,
that can be death metal too. Yeah,
oh, yes, yes,
yeah,
of course you can. And if you can make a slower song like that, death metal, that is very kudos to the band. I mean,
yeah.
right?
Well, thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of the lyrics, is there any connection between Last Me to My Painful Death and Rise of the Blackest Sun? In the first, I think you mentioned Hecate, right?
Yeah,
The goddess. And
yeah.
then in the second one, you are referring to a female character, but you don't mention names.
No, no, no. It has nothing to do with each other. No, I
Okay.
thought if we um, um, talk about strong fantasy figures in death metal, it's always manly. So I thought I make a strong song about a woman, you know, a woman goddess. That was the and Lashmi is also about a little bit of heartache song, you know,
Mhm.
about giving yourself to someone or to a woman and totally lose yourself in that, you know, and it has a little bit to do with a song from another album. No, I don't know which one it is, but not those songs are not connected. What you say,
Okay. Okay. However, as you said, usually
but
the
Lash Me has something to do with hardening of the heart. That's true. You can
okay.
combine those two for sure.
You said about usually using male characters. However, I will add the female characters are the scariest ones,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yes.
So
That's why I
okay.
had the Hecate in there too. I like those characters very much. Yeah,
And then you have a king in the field. Is this about a serial killer in
yeah,
Germany?
yeah. From Germany, yes, from
Mm.
Hamburg. I was with my girlfriend in Hamburg, and she brought me to a cafe, and she said, "Do you know where you are?" Hamburg. She
Hamburg?
said, "Yeah, yeah." She said it's a famous cafe, and it was the cafe where the serial killer who was famous there always went to, you know. And that cafe is called the Golden Handschuhe, and that's the Golden Glove in English. And there was made a film about that. So we
Mm.
went to see the movie, and that was one of the most disgusting movies ever saw, and so well made. I was really after 2 hours from what the fuck did I just listen to? It really everything was disgusting about that movie, but very impressive. It was really impressive, and it kept me. It was in my head for a long time, and I never make songs about a movie, but that one had such a beautiful story around it, so I had to make a song about that, and that was King in the Field. It's the
Wow.
filthiest movie ever, really. Yeah, and not so well known. It's not a big movie or so, not a Hollywood movie. It's an art house movie, I think. It almost looks like a documentary.
You have to share the title now, unless you
Yeah,
said it and I didn't catch that.
The Golden Handschuh. It's a
Oh,
German movie. Yeah.
okay, the German, because you, okay, good.
Yeah.
Now you know I will search for it to watch that
Yeah.
film.
That's nice.
I would love to hear what prompts did you give to AI for the resurrection of the Graceless music video.
Oh, that's what do you mean with prompts?
What did you, let's say to the AI machine to create the visuals for?
Jasper did that. I think he had the connection. He wanted to do something. They come up with do how do you know a lyric video? I hate those lyric videos. They all look the same, and I can't look at them. But
I agree.
it's not so expensive, so everybody does it. So we too, and then we have to do, of course, a clip with the band in it. Okay, we do that as well, but we had to do three things. So let's do something totally different. And then we searched the internet, and then we came up with the AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really like from, if we're gonna do it, people are gonna be mad about it, or it's really a love or hate thing for sure. But everybody has a very strong opinion about AI, and that was the case. So yeah, we only said we do our most death metal song, and that is Resurrection of the Grace. That's really just a horror, old school zombie
Mm-hmm.
song. No fancy lyrics, no fancy riffs. It's just straight on master like jungle rod like death metal, really old school. And that's what we give to the AI guy, but we have no clue how that works. And he
Right.
said it has to be in the church, it has to have zombies. This is the music, and you have to see the band somewhere. That's all. And
Perfect.
in a few weeks, he came with this, and we could make a little adjustments, and this was it. And we said, we put it on the internet, and listenable. Was also a little bit hesitating, but he said, "Yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna do it," and it did exactly what we thought. There are a lot of people who like it, and some people say, "Well, I'm gonna burn my Graceless shit, but you're stealing from other things." Okay, sorry, that was not our intention, but we had a hoax it did something right in the beginning because people were talking about it, and it would have
Yes.
much views in no time. So I thought it was okay, but it was never. I never thought it was so. It would be so aggressive. There was a little group who went really aggressive about it. You can't do this, and or the gatekeepers of the scene, of course. And well,
Um,
okay, I learned from that as well. I don't think I would do it again, but yeah,
oh,
we did
hold
it.
on. You know what?
Yeah,
As a band, at
yeah,
least I think you should have all the freedom you want. It's your
yeah.
band, it's your music. Do
It's
whatever you like. I mean, come
yeah.
on.
That's what we did too. But I think it's not so good that we choose for this again. Maybe if it gets better. I think most AI things look alike now much, and if
Sure,
it gets
sure.
better and you have better artists at it, maybe I'll use it again. But yeah, it was a little bit for if you work 2 years on an album and you take a chance, and then the first reaction are a little very personal, they bash us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, and even one-on-one, that was really that was really something, I can understand why people feel this way a little bit, but not so much, because if I don't like something, I
You
just
don't
don't
like
watch.
something. Right.
Yeah. And there are things I don't like, but then I don't think, oh, I'm gonna write the guitar player that he's an asshole because I don't like it. Then I just listen to another song. That's me.
I hope people understand that doing that, it's almost like going to a store, actually
Yeah,
entering a store to say to the person or to the baker if it's a bakery and say,
yeah,
you know what? You make the worst pies.
yeah,
Don't go, man. Don't buy
yeah,
this stuff.
yeah. Go to another. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So, but it was a storm. It went over in 1 week, so that was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But for the first song you bring for the new album, it was. But we knew it, but I didn't thought it
I
was that.
understand. I
Yeah,
understand. You know what? It's the same thing. If you remember when bands start using Pro Tools, everybody was saying, "Oh,
yeah,
don't do that. you have to record only analog.
Yeah, same. And now
Never
everything
ends.
is Pro Tools. Yeah, yeah, and the same with triggers for drummers. With triggers, and everybody use triggers just because it's. I still don't like it, but everybody use it and it's okay. We do. Yeah, do what you
Yeah.
got to do. And now if you have the same thing with bands, they use keyboards on the background, but they don't have a keyboard player. But it's just all modern. Do what you want. And I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I won't mention Napster, the whole situation about
Oh,
Napster. Now
yeah,
everybody's using,
yeah,
streaming services.
yeah.
So,
And
okay.
everybody was laughing at Lars for
Mhm.
being so aggressive against it, but yeah,
Cool down, people, and listen to
yeah,
music. I mean, come on.
yeah. And if you don't like it, listen to something else. We're not a political party or something. We just try to find some original ways to
Yeah,
present our music. And if
absolutely.
we're all only gonna make lyric videos, then we're not evolving. And I think not evolving is deadly for music or
Yep,
for artists. Yeah.
I totally agree. What are the live plans for the band right now? I know you have 4 shows in December, right?
We have more. Yeah, we can play for a month because Björn he hurts his right finger. He
Oh,
cut
crap.
it, so he has a little operation here. So I can play for 4 or 5 weeks, but after that we can play again.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have a tour with Sinister with
Mm.
like 12, but it's gonna be 14 shows, I think. There's some dates added, and we have some shows in Germany and some in Holland. So we're gonna promote the hell out of it. But it's gonna be more for sure.
Any
Yeah.
discussion about the US, North America, or even Latin America?
Now in Trump's America, it's very difficult to go now. We have to go to the embassy and one-on-one, and we can't go as a band. We all have to go apart, and then we get an interview, and we have to tell you what we're gonna do there, and you might get a visa or you don't, and it costs a lot of money. So I don't know if we go to the US this year. No, I think but it's not a good idea. But we love to come to Latin America. We've been
Yes.
there with Solburn already. Yeah, it was the time of our lives, really. It was so nice. Yeah. So I want to do that for sure. But there are no plans yet. But I'm gonna pinch the management from let's make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Solburn, how do you split your focus between Solburn, Graceless, and you have another band, right? You have
Yeah, just before dawn. Yeah,
Just Before
but just
Dawn.
before dawn, I do. I'm only like a hired gun. I only do the vocals live, and they don't play so much live. So I don't have to play with Graces and I don't have to play with Solburn, then I can go with the guys from just before
Okay.
dawn. But that's more like five friends with too much hobbies. They have all other bands, and if we have the time, we do that. But it's very nice, very talented writer, that Anders guy. And in between Solburn and Graceless, we always look for okay. Grace now has a new album, and they're gonna support it. If they're gonna support live, then we put Solburn a little bit on hold, and we do other stuff, like writing or things like that. And if Solburn has some momentum, then so we always have to seek for balance. And sometimes we have a gig on for both on the same date, and then we do that who was first gets that date. If is there already a Graces ding, then it's sorry for Solburn and the other way around. But it doesn't happen so much. And sometimes we can play on the same stage, so then it's cool as well.
Is it
We
though?
do.
Can you do that, Mark?
Yeah,
You and Mark
we
play
yeah
two.
we do it. We did it a few times, but we always say that it has to be if it's a festival, there has to be at least two bands between. So
Of
then we
course.
have yeah, not not one, at least two. Then we can do it. Yeah, but rather not. Rather on the other day. Then
Oh
we have
yeah.
yeah, that's
I was
better.
this close suggesting to have Solburn and Graceless touring at the same billing, but it will be the
Yeah,
end of you guys.
Mark, we were at Protestant Festival last weekend with Mark, and Mark was in the bus, and he had, I have a good idea. We make a package with Grace and Solomon. I said, really? As a drummer, he said that, yes, we can lower the price, and then we can go everywhere. So you have done 6 members and for 2 bands, I think it's a good idea. I think we're dead if we do a tour like that. So,
Oh my goodness, that would be a lot, a lot.
yeah, it would be too much. I think we did it like 3 times, and all 3 times, maybe 5 times. I thought, from Jesus Christ, what a night was this? You know, I'm still recovering from band one, and then I felt changed when other guitars, everything's different about the bands. Also, you know,
Oh yeah.
the tuning is different, and in the one I sing, the other ones I don't, and we have different amps, so it's too much for me. Rather not, I think.
Remco, thank you very much for your time. Love the new album.
Yes, thank you.
Wish the best, quick recovery for Bjorn, and I hope he won't have any issues getting back to playing again. And I don't know. I hope to see Graceless live here in Chicago.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, we will. Yeah, I come up. Soulburns comes to Chicago. Graceless, I hope I will. Yeah, I hope very much. But thank you very much for the interest in Graceless.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day and have safe travels while touring.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.